to the Piedmont Triad podcast.
Before I get too old, I'm gonna head down to Muscle Shoals. Baby, you can meet me at the station.
Welcome to another episode of the Piedmont Triad podcast, the only podcast that talks about the weird and strange, unusual people and places of the North Carolina Piedmont Triad area. I'm your host, David Locklear, and today we are talking to the Carolina Chainsaw Massacre Festival founders, Jon and Yoyo McEntee. If you don't already know what the Carolina Chainsaw Massacre is, it is a 2-day heavy metal and horror festival taking place on May 5th and 6th, 2023, at Arizona Pete's in Greensboro, North Carolina, and the Kraken Bar in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Last year's festival hosted legendary metal bands such as Nuclear Assault, as well as local beasts such as False Prophet and Eldritch Horror, along with horror movie icons such as Ari Lehman, who played Jason in the original Friday the 13th, and Jon Dugan, who is starred as Grandpa in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. This year, legendary bands such as The Possessed will drag their bloody metal mayhem to the festival, along with appearances by Caroline Williams, who starred in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 as Stretch, as well as Betsy Baker, Theresa and Richard Demanicor, who played Lindy, Shelly, and Scotty in the original Evil Dead. Jon and Yoyo sat down with us again this year, where we talked about Mark Price, Skippy from Family Ties, and the Trick or Treat movie from the 80s, getting booed at the Carolina Chainsaw Massacre last year when he was trying to do his stand-up comedy set, how they've both tried to up their game in this second year of the Carolina Chainsaw Massacre, and their surprisingly mellow thoughts about God and religion. This year, you guys have managed to get George Corpse Grinder. Is it Fisher? Is that his last name? Right. Okay, yeah. From Cannibal Corpse. He just did a solo album last year, I believe. And so now he's going to be showing up at the Carolina Chainsaw Massacre in our little, humble suburb. Is he going to be performing, or is he just going to be kind of hanging out and doing things? I couldn't tell.
Well, he's mostly going to be hanging out doing things. I mean, we're trying to do some behind-the-scenes stuff to maybe have him, do something, but I can't say because we don't know for sure yet. But he'll definitely be hanging out, just BSing with people and signing stuff. And, he's a very sociable person anyway. I mean, I've known him for years, and he just loves hanging out with everybody. And this situation is perfect for him. Plus, he really wants to see the bands that are playing too. So I think he'll have a really good time. I mean, when I spoke to him last, he was super excited about it. And I think we're going to be able to swing getting on stage for something, but I can't say just yet. I can't promise anything because it's going to be up to him,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's always good to have a surprise. I mean, that's part of the fun of Christmas, isn't it? It's not knowing what you're getting until you get there.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. He's going to be showing up, and you got the legendary Possessed showing up in Greensboro. I never fucking thought I'd see that happen. If they showed up in North Carolina, I would have been startled. The fact they're going to be 30 minutes down the road is kick ass. So, have you known those guys for a little while? Because y'all have been around. Maybe just a little. They've been around a little longer than you guys. So have y'all known them for a while?
They were one of our inspirations as a band. So for me, it's extra special to have them. Some of the members of Possessed I've been friends with for quite some time. A lot of them from other bands they played in and stuff throughout the years. The main guy, Jeff Becerra, just probably over the last, I'm not sure how long it's been, maybe last 4 or 5 years, I started to become better friends with them and stuff. I mean, of course, we knew who each other were, but I can't even remember how it happened. But, it was because I was doing a podcast and I wanted to have him on for something, and we just kind of connected over that. And, but yeah, I wasn't really friends with them back in the day. I mean, like I said, I knew him. We knew each other, and we, but say we're friends at that time was not necessarily what it was. Plus, he had his accident in his wheelchair, and he was really out of the scene for quite a while because of just the recovery, and just he needed time to build up his self-esteem. I mean, of course, something life-changing like that for somebody like him that was a performer, it's, I mean, it's a tragic event for anybody, but especially someone like him that's out in the open and is like, for at least for a metal person, a celebrity, So, but yeah, since he kind of started getting back into playing and stuff, we've been acquaintances, but, we're at the point now where, I consider him a good friend. So it's really cool. Really excited to have him.
Yeah, that's got to fuck with your head at least a little bit when you're a performer. And what was the accident? What happened to him?
I mean, I don't know the whole thing, but this was a long time ago. This is probably, I don't know if it was 89 or 90 or something. He got shot at a convenience store holdup, and he got his spine severed.
No shit. I didn't hear anything about this at all. Damn.
Yeah, and he, he's, obviously it was a long recovery and a tragic experience for him, But the cool thing about it is that he ended up, probably, I would say a good 15 years, 12 to 15 years after the accident, he really didn't do anything. But then at a certain point, he started getting back into playing music. And that's really, he's a legend in the, thrash and death metal world for, what he created with Possessed early on. So I think it was great for him to be able to get back to music, something that was so passionate to him. Maybe he thought was like after his, having his accident, maybe he thought he wasn't going to be able to play. I mean, I can't really speak for him, but sure. From what, what we've talked about and what I've read about the situation is that, just super happy to be able to play. And it just took him a long time to kind of get everything with Possessed to the place where he wanted to be. And now the band is like pretty much at their top level as far as, the players are all really high quality. I mean, he's still struggling with health complications, but it's almost like it's a perseverance for, it's his passion like it is for us and what we do. His passion is playing music, so he's, fighting through it because, he's had accident. He has a lot of, health problems, but also just assorted other things that he, I guess you have the older you get and stuff too on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, he's been doing great. I mean, they just played a festival in Texas. It was a Hell's Hero Fest, and, the video footage I seen, it sounded amazing, and you could just tell the happiness. You could see the happiness in his eyes of being able to go to shows, play shows, and just hang out with everybody. He really lights up that way, and it's great to see that,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure, it's going to be the same at our event. He's going to be really happy to just hang out, meet everybody, and be able to just really kick ass. And, for a lot of people, especially around here, to see Possessed play live is probably something that was never really expected because,
Amen.
it's not a place, that they probably, I don't know for sure because I haven't lived here my whole life, but I don't think they've ever played here even back when they were, actually playing in the 80s. So, it's their first time here, and, we're happy to be able to bring them as part of our event,
Yeah, I can't say for sure, but I don't recall them coming around here.
Yeah,
I don't think.
I think
so.
they might have played Virginia possibly or Georgia, but I mean, I think at that time there wasn't a huge amount of shows in North Carolina at the time.
Market.
Yeah,
yeah.
North Carolina, it seems like has its ups and downs throughout history as far as sometimes it's great, like now we're kind of on an upswing, but even from playing with Incantation, I know sometimes you go to North Carolina, it was like, oof, it's pretty rough.
Uh-oh, yeah, here come the protesters.
Yeah, well, but it's nice that things are better, here now for, music in general, I think, which is, it's a good thing for sure.
Yeah, I feel like the music scene has really gotten healthier in the last probably 20 years or so around here. And one of the reasons I think that is I talked to this artist in Asheville named Getty Monroe, and he's like, I'm sorry, trans woman. So I have my brain, I met her when she was still male. So,
yeah. So,
now trans female. So it's like, it's my fuck up because I'm an old guy. So I apologize, Getty. But yeah, she was talking about how the music scene in Asheville is so much better now than it used to be years, like when she was growing up.
Yeah.
And it's just like there's this underground punk scene, and it's very nurturing. There's a lot of really positive things that are coming out of these little pockets of music scenes around North Carolina. And I feel like it's just kind of grown and grown. I feel like a lot of the people involved in the music scene around here, and you guys can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but it seems like most bands, regardless of how big, popular, and all that kind of stuff, they do support each other in this particular music ecosystem. Is that kind of a fair thing to assume?
Definitely.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of support from the local scene here for sure. And I think especially like some of the older metalheads, they realize that it wasn't the best for some time. So now that things are kind of going in a better way, a lot more people are proactive on trying to nurture it more, because it just makes the it just makes it more enjoyable to be in a place where people could have entertaining things to do.
Yeah, and you can get all manner of entertainment. It's fun. It's nice to have some choices. I love that. In town we've got Monstercade, and they're kind of becoming known for punk shows. And people have been, apparently, I had no idea, they were dying for punk shows around here. I've never been that much of a punk guy, so I had no idea. And then I hear, after I interviewed Carlos, the owner of Monstercade, and people were like, oh, this is the only place you can go see a punk show. This shit rules. And Monstercade seems to be blowing up. That seems to be one of the reasons.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the fact that you guys have the Carolina Massacre, and now, not long ago, we had the Carolina Rebellion, and, fairly large festival. I don't know what really happened to that, but now we've got Blue Ridge, which is sort of a good, middle of the road. Like, I'll be able to take my kids to that, and they'll get a kick out of it. It won't, they won't be bored. They'll actually know some of the bands. It's not real specific. But I just love the variety around here. And so you were talking earlier about, being North Carolina, the area used to be kind of combative to that. It still is to some degree, I'm sure, with this type of music. But have you guys ever gotten regularly protested because of your lyrical, content and imagery and whatnot?
I mean, not in North Carolina. We have before a few times, but not never. North Carolina, no, it was mostly just not that good of shows at a certain point. It seemed like just the scene in general was dead. I mean, we didn't live here, so I don't know what was, but I just know as a touring band, at that time I was either based out of Pennsylvania or Ohio around a time that it was a little bit weaker around here. And I just knew that usually if we played North Carolina, it's like, don't get your hopes up too much, But this all changed at a certain point. Like, I think in, 2018, we played in Greensboro with Dying Fetus, and I was surprised on how well the show went. And then we also played the Orange Peel out in Asheville, and that was on a Devastation on a Nation tour we were doing, and that was also another great turnout. And I just every time we played here since then,
it was a packed weekday show.
Yeah, it was just
cool.
Yeah, it was nice. So, and then after moving here, going to shows, I'm seeing a lot of the shows are doing pretty well and stuff, and it just seems like it just needs more people to invest in it and try to keep it going, because hopefully we can get just a good scene here going, and have we just figured with this fest, part of the thing was we can make it a staple of the North Carolina, South Carolina kind of scene, something that's distinctively from here, and not just something that everybody could kind of enjoy and relate to, and be able to hopefully see stuff that they wouldn't normally be able to see. You know, we're trying to bring bands here that, you know, majority of them that don't normally tour here or come through here. That's part of the, you know, what makes doing what we're doing hopefully special for people, you know, because, you know, I think it shouldn't just be, people shouldn't just be stuck on seeing just the whatever, you know, tour just happens to come by and they need a date in North Carolina. We want to make it, you know, a special event that's going to be badass and something that people could look forward to going to, and just having a good time and being able to express themselves however they want to at our event.
Yeah.
Something like that, right? Not too far off, I hope, Yo-Yo.
Yeah, no, we're just trying to build something that, like, we as fans would enjoy ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to make something. We want to make something for, or like he said, we want to make something for people to enjoy, but also like we want to like give back a little bit of the support the local scene have been giving us, and we want to build something for people to enjoy and also be proud of.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, we just look fans of, you know, metal music and fans of horror stuff, and just seem like that part of it represents, you know, what we like, and we figure, well, if we like it, maybe there's other people in the area that feel the same way about it, you know. And of course it's something where, you know, not everyone's going to go for, you know, they might not be super into the horror stuff, but they'll still go, and that's also good because, you know, maybe they can learn a little bit about the horror scene, or maybe you know, dip their toe in the water of it or something, and vice versa. You know, maybe some people want to go, like, you know, we have, you know, George Fisher from Cannibal Corpse, which is a, you know, obviously a super big name in the metal world. You know, someone that might want to go there for them, and then find out a bunch of bands that they're not so familiar with, and they might be able, you know, get into some new stuff. I mean, it's all about just trying to grow the scene and give people opportunity to enjoy different things they might not normally get to do around here. I mean, there's, you know, a lot of great horror conventions here, and a lot of great metal shows, but, you know, it's like, why not bring it all together? I mean, you know, we could just do a metal fest, but then it's just not
Another metal.
It's just another metal fest, and it's not special towards us, you know, because part of doing it has to be a passion for Yo-Yo, myself, to do it. Even though we want to give back, we want to do something great, we want it to also be an honest representation of what we enjoy and what we like too, and you know, hopefully expand upon it. And I think everybody could benefit from it.
Oh yeah. Let me ask you this, guy, then, with you guys, when you put this together last year, and it looked like it was an explosive success. Am I wrong? Did it surpass your expectations? Because honest to God, when I got there and that place was packed, I was like, damn, I would have, if I had been you guys in your situation, I would have shit myself. I would have been like, no, this is way more than I was expecting. I would have panicked at my success. So hopefully you guys, looks like you have a much better attitude about success than I do. So
it was super rewarding. It was such a great experience. We were like so blown away, and we were so grateful. We still are. It was super awesome. Yeah, like, I mean, of course we were not sold out or anything last year, but it was so awesome. The turnout was great, and the energy, the people, the crowd, everything was insane, and it just all happened so fast. And we could totally feel this, like, the crazy amount of support from our local friends and fans and from the people. Just, it made us feel like, yes, at that moment we just knew we were doing the right thing.
Yeah. The also, just from being in the music scene for a while, I really worked hard on trying to put together a good group of people, between local people that are really serious, reliable, and respectful to bands, and also some people from out of the area that I know that are spending more money on trying to make sure that we're getting the right people to help out with stuff, even if it's, okay, on paper, it doesn't make sense, to spend this extra money. But to know that, we have people helping us that are experienced with it, but also do it for a passion and stuff like that. And so it was like the way things were done, it was just done, it just all fell together the right way, because it wasn't like we'll just say, it wasn't like we just hired people to just do this job and just do, we wanted to get people that were, like one of the guys at Varsity that we got to be kind of like our, it was kind of like almost like the manager of the whole thing.
He's a
the
legend
day of
himself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was, he knew most of the bands already before even doing it, so the bands felt comfortable. It made whatever we needed to do and get done a lot easier. It wasn't just like having somebody doesn't, know these people and stuff like that. So
right.
because the whole thing about doing this properly for us is to make sure that everybody is in a positive mood. The bands are feeling good. They're getting the stuff that they feel they need to have a good show, and also a positive environment. And then, that kind of bleeds over to the fans being in a good mood. Or so when they're, meeting these people or whatever, everyone's in the right frame of mind. I mean, we'll take the stress of dealing with all the BS and stuff like that, but we want to make sure everybody that's there is having a good time. It's really important, because a part of doing this is we want to be an experience for people to not just go into a show, but also to interact with the horror guests, the metal bands, anybody as a guest, or anybody, or even just like this year, the DJ that we have there is a DJ that used to DJ at the old shows I used to go to as a kid in Lemore's in Brooklyn, a really famous club up in the New York area. And they used to book all the old thrash shows back in the 80s and stuff. And we wanted to have, we got the offer to have him do it. And it was like, yeah, that'd be great, because that brings part of my personal history and something special to me growing up. It's almost like I get to show people that a little bit of the experience of why maybe I fell in love with this music even more, because back then at the venues, there used to be, there'd be a DJ that would introduce the bands. He would talk a little bit between and play some music. And, it was like a live DJ while between bands are going on and stuff. And it really helps set the aura of the whole thing. We wanted to bring something like that here too. So there's a lot of thought put into it, and with a lot of thought, a lot of extra money spent on stuff, but it's all worth it, because it's like you could do it cheap, but then it's not going to be great. We want everybody to really enjoy it, and if people are going to spend their hard-earned money to go to it, it has to be a fun experience for them. It's like if they're not having a good time, we've failed at what we did. And after last time, to see how great the response was and how much they enjoyed it, it was like a super big, it was just a relief, and it was like a high that we got, because it was just like so much hard work. And the fact that made it even more better was that it was so personal to Yo-Yo and I, and that, it just made a really special experience, I guess.
Well, it's got to be fun to be able to personally reach out to people that you've liked and admired for years and just say, would you come be a part of my thing? And them going, yeah, like, how much ass does that kick? That is fantastic. Like watching, I felt bad for him, but watching Mark Price last year that for me was personally awesome. But that poor bastard, he got ripped apart.
Oh, man.
I loved him though. It was hilarious. He took it so well, but I was like, oh no, I figured everybody'd be into this.
I was
Same.
a little surprised. It was a we wanted to do it because we thought it would, he really wanted to do a stand up, and I was like, well, we talked, Yo-Yo and I talked about it, and it was like,
thought it would be a good
we thought it'd be a good idea to,
I thought so too.
Mix things up a little bit, but, sometimes, sometimes
the vibe just wasn't right for some reason.
Yeah, something about the energy of the room when he went on stage. Everybody's just like, kill him. And I'm like, what the hell did he do?
But
let the man tell us damn jokes.
Mark Price was very, was very cool about everything. I mean,
he kept a smile the entire time. That's what I wanted to high five him just for that.
And afterwards, I mean, it had to have been. I mean, it was difficult for him, but like he totally handled it like a professional.
He's such a great person.
Yeah, he was
such a professional.
He was really a nice guy, and I felt terrible about the situation, but there's nothing you could do about it. It just because it's not. You sometimes have to just try to do things, and sometimes it just doesn't work for one reason or another. I mean, I've been there, as a musician. Sometimes you do something, you're super excited and think it's going to work out great, and it doesn't. And that, I'm sure it's the same thing with stand up or whatever.
Have you guys ever had a crowd just turn on you like that before?
We've had crowds not really like us a lot. Yeah, we've we've had some. I mean, not many, but there has been a few that we were definitely, could say, we were playing in front of an unreceptive crowd. Let's say,
See, I would, if I were in that situation, I think at first I would panic, and then there's like a masochistic side to me where I'm just like, fuck you, just like throw it at me. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, I mean, an example is I used to live in Cleveland for a little while, and all of us in the band were friends with the guys in Mushroom Head because they were part of the metal scene over there. And they were like super big there. It was before they even got like popular all around, but in Cleveland, they were selling out like every place. And they were like, our drummer and myself, I mean, I lived with one of the guys for a while, and our drummer is good friends with like the whole band because they were all part of like the thrash metal scene. They changed over, to their style with Mushroom Head later on. But anyway, we played a show with them at like one of the nicest venues in Cleveland that isn't like a huge coliseum, but maybe like a good 2,000 person place. It was called the Odeon. And
I've heard of that place.
They had us open up for them, and it was sold out, packed, and we went on, and it was just like, what the heck are you guys doing? It was just like, what? It was just like, we started, it was just like, we finished the song, and it was just like, everyone's just looking. And then, it was just funny because we just, we have that, screw you kind of attitude, and we just said, we're just going to go for it. We actually did a set of like all new songs we were just working on the set because we figured, well, nobody likes us. No one is into it at all. We're just going to go through some new songs while playing the live set.
Oh, that's a good idea. And, all right. Yeah, we'll work the kinks out of this shit.
And, it was actually, you might have gotten a couple of claps. But just think of being in a room with 2,000 people and hearing like... But, those kind of shows, I mean, and then, they grow hair in your chest, because it's like, it's good for anybody who's an entertainer to not think that things always come so easy to you.
Oh, shit, my fault. Look at what a professional I am, people. A fucking phone on.
But yeah, it's just, it's good. I mean, it's not good. I mean, at the time it happens, it's usually not the most exciting. Like I said, my adrenaline kicks in. I'm like, play them faster, play them heavier or something. But in reality, like I said, it's good because it gives you the proper perspective because, when it comes to, musician or, whatever, a stand-up, anything, you're not guaranteed a great response. You're not guaranteed a bunch of people go to shows. So it's like sometimes it just doesn't happen. And, but you make a decision. Do you do this because you love doing it, or do you do it just because the people are coming out? And, we do it because we love doing it. So, okay. So sometimes a show is a dud, but that's, it's like, we're confident what we do, it's like, but we get it. We knew going into it that the fan base wasn't our fan base in the first place.
Right.
But we figured, well, maybe we could turn a few heads, or maybe maybe a small portion of would like it, but it ended up being like a minuscule portion, but it's okay.
Now, I know with stand-up comedians, a lot of the times when they watch other comics who are, like their peers and whatnot, they get genuine joy out of watching one of their friends eat shit on stage. Like they get such joy out of that. Is that sort of the same dynamic, or metal bands like that? Do you like watching your buddies just fail miserably so you can point and laugh? Because I would.
I know. When it happens, we'll just be like, oof. And just kind of cover our mouths and be like, oof, that was a little rough, But yeah, I mean, at this point, we kind of sympathize with them, when it happens.
Yeah.
Just like, it's a bummer because, especially when you see people that are really good and talented at what they do, but for some reason it's just not connecting. Because they're just, being in a band you're dependent on other people more than a stand-up comedian. So a stand-up comedian, it's more like, okay, it's all on you. But when it's a band, it's like it could be multiple different things that just aren't connecting. I mean, mostly it's just people might just think you suck or something. But
right.
sometimes it's just the band isn't playing good, or someone's having a bad day. When you have 4 or 5 people in the band, you're going to get some people with a bad day, and it's it's almost, you can't even really complain about it because it's just part of life,
Yeah, and I imagine it's one of those things that as a performer, if you have an off night, you probably want to explain that. Almost want to be like, I drank way too much last night, or I had some really bad Mexican food. There's things that can happen where it's like you have to kind of push through because there's the expectation of you guys, performing at a certain level.
Well, yeah. The bad food thing.
Speaking of,
I had
I
had some good food, and I was in San Diego. I had some great chorizo burritos, a really great authentic Mexican place right next to the venue we play there called Brick by Brick. But I ate way too much before playing, and I kept burping up chorizo, Mexican food while trying to growl and stuff. Luckily, I my vocals are growly enough, so if I gurgle up a little bit of Mexican food, it just sounds like some cool vocal effect or something I'm doing.
See, that's some shit that Celine Dion is never going to be able to pull off.
No.
You'll hear her burp.
Yeah. So luckily, I was able to make lemonade out of lemons.
Right? Yeah. That's awesome. What a good way to cover things. It's just like, no, that's my vocal style. Well, speaking of vocal styles, how did you develop yours? I've asked this question of people who sing like death growly vocals, and everybody has a different one. The weirdest one I ever heard was guy said he was prepared for it. He said something like he gurgles with, I think it was horse semen. Was how he fired it out immediately. He was, I gurgle with horse semen, and it's people protest me because it's not vegan. And I asked that question. I had 2 seconds to process.
Though.
Yes, I didn't know how to process that. It was hilarious. That was the best answer I've ever heard.
Yeah, no, I have nothing exciting like that. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I never thought I could even do this kind of vocal stuff. It was more just necessity. Just try to do it, but I don't know. I work with some great vocalists in the past, so I just tried. Basically, I was just yelled in my basement for a while until it happened. Like we got into a situation where I needed to do it. I knew I needed to do it for my own future and the future of the band, so I just did it and practiced it, and there was no nothing for sure saying that I'd be able to do it, but I just was stubborn about it, and we actually, about a year into me trying to get the vocals down to where I felt I was doing justice to it, we booked a small tour in Mexico just to kind of test it out there, and we videotaped the shows and, listened back and I was like, sounds okay. It wasn't great, but it wasn't like terrible. Like I was like, this is at least a good start, But yeah, it just took a long time to do, and it's just grows over time. It's like the more you do it, the more you play shows and everything, you just start to learn how to express yourself that way. But it's not an easy thing to do. I think. I mean, anybody could growl, make weird noises or whatever, but to do it in a way that like just doesn't sound like you're just hanging out making weird noises, like it actually makes some sense to what's going on in music, is actually
like actually having a tonality to it on some level.
Yeah, like a tonality. Yeah, because even though they're like ridiculously low growly tones, there is a tonality to the to make sense out of it, and you got to kind of reach to make it sound right and be able to put in your own little personality to it too,
right.
Some vocalist out there that play in our style, I think, is just sometimes too monotone. They're not thinking.
Right.
They're not thinking in a musical way. Like I said, I know it's untraditional music sounding vocals, but it still takes some sort of talent to do.
Yeah, and there's still there is a structure. There are a handful of rules you still kind of have to abide by.
Yeah, it's like the vocals have to be, I don't know, almost cinematic. Like because if you have vocals is kind of, I look at it as the icing on the cake, or like the little designs on the cake or whatever you make with the icing, and you need to do it. Makes sense. You need to take what the basic idea of the song is, and somehow with vocals and say leads or something like that, pop it up more to make the vibe of what you're trying to express more intense or more whatever you're trying to do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Just to make it like you said, cinematic. I think that's a good way of putting it, because there are a lot of death metal bands where I can hear the talent. I can hear that the players are very good. They've done it very well. But yeah, something about the singing is just flat.
Yeah. A lot of times it's flat.
Yeah. And usually at that point, I'm not really paying attention to the vocals. I'm just kind of grooving on the sound.
Yeah, that happens. I mean, it's to me too. I mean, I grew up in the 80s metal scene, so I still look at it from I don't look at it. I don't like hearing monotone. Most, even if they're singing, in regular singing voice, it's very rare that I like listen to something monotone. Like, yeah, that's great. So, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, and I wish that I could sing like that, because the techniques that you're talking about, if I ever tried to do the growly thing, I end up with a sore throat. So I know that there are these cool techniques that you can do. I heard something like that. There's one you can do with something about you put a pin in your mouth to make your tongue curl in a certain way, and that'll give you a tone. And there's all these weird things I've heard about, and I have no idea if they're valid or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know I try to not be over throaty. That's usually where the problem is, and try to use more diaphragm to push through. It's like you're almost using the throat in a way to help with the tone, or the mouth to help with the tone, but get like the basic sound pushing up, because the more you use your actual throat to sing is when you usually start to blow out the voice and get the sore throat and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It took me a while of practicing, and now it's like second nature, but for a while I still would I used to blow out my voice every once in a while on tour. It was really frustrating.
Right.
Because I have a really good show, really excited about it. Next day I'm like,
well, that was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's a bummer, but.
Well, tell me a little bit about the lyrics of all of your albums. The reason I'm fascinated with them is because I've been a lifelong Christian. I think I've told you guys that before. And I read your lyrics, and it's like, man, I understand that you probably don't mean it, but it's like, where does the perspective of like this like fucking God, this is bullshit vibe kind of come from, because I used to take it seriously when I was a kid, but now when I'm older, I'm just like, I figure most of the time it's shock, but I was curious, if there was really somewhere where it came from, if you had like a bad or negative experience when you were growing up with religion.
I don't think it was really like any bad experience. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't like, touched or something in the church or anything weird like that. So
come up with another song, touched in church. just a straightforward song, no metaphor whatsoever. That'd be fucked up. I would listen to that in a heartbeat.
No, I don't know. I think I started just losing interest in it. I mean, really, the main thing that I thought was odd about it was just, I mean, because my parents are both religious, but we went to, like as a kid, went to, was it St. Anne's Catholic Church? It was in Fair Lawn, New Jersey, and they just seemed like assholes there. I mean, they were always pushing for, a certain amount of donations on stuff, and like, even like when my grandmother passed away, like we basically had to pay them off to get them to do the service and stuff for.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, so it was just like I only heard about it through hearing my parents complaining about it and stuff like that, because it just, they had a view like, be a good person is more important than going to church and saying that you're religious. It's like, no, be an example of what is a good person, and people will, be more receptive than like having a maybe sometimes a condescending or just I don't know. It just comes across wrong when it's the freaking church. And my grandmother was a lifelong, Catholic.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, she donated, when she had no money, she donated to like her local church and stuff. I mean, because my parents grew up with, you would call it like welfare in New York City and stuff. So they didn't have money, but the little money they did, they would, donate to the church or whatever here and there. So it was kind of like, it just really hit us, at least as a family, it hit us in a really awkward way and stuff. I don't know if that was necessarily like the straw that broke the camel's back for me, but I just started, looking at it from more of that way. Like that's it just seems wrong, to do that. Yeah. And even when I was a kid, I wasn't like against religion. I thought it was kind of cool. Like, it was cool going into church and seeing all the cool architecture and all that stuff. I thought it was great. But then I think at a certain point, I started to just feel like it was not representative of me, and that the things that I was getting into and liking, like I really was a big, I was really into like Dungeons and Dragons, and then I started getting into early heavy metal in the 80s and stuff, and it kept getting like, all these religious groups were giving pressure to, saying this is Satan's music and, going like pushing so damn hard on it. And it's like almost in a way it pushed me more towards being against it. 'Cause I'm just like, I don't know. I think that no matter what you are, I mean, religion in this instant should be, if you believe in something, just be cool about it. And then other people you have a better chance of getting people to believe in what you believe or be interested in if you're nice. But if you go around, just bitching about everything, complaining about and trying to force stuff down people's throats, like, your beliefs, that's when people start to push away. And I think, and if I really look back at it, probably I just started pushing away because it's like all the stuff I found enjoyable was considered like satanic. And we're talking about like,
sounds very familiar. If what you're talking about is it, I have a very similar experience, so I completely relate to what you're talking about.
And then once I started dabbling more in darker side of stuff, like what was it, like the Satanic Bible and stuff like that I read as a kid, and it just seemed to, I mean, I'm not a follower of anything like that, but the concept seemed a little more, actually more practical as far as that we are animals, we have human instincts, and not to be so scared of your human instincts, or not to be guilty about your human instincts. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it just related to me, but at the same time, I'm not into organized religion in any way. Not that I really, really, really don't care if people are religious or not. That's not the thing. Even though, in her lyrics, a lot of times you talk about abolishing religion and stuff like that.
Right.
It's more about abolishing religion for yourself if it's causing you to be not the person that you really want to be or be happy about it. And we all have to take responsibilities for ourselves, and we should take responsibilities for the good things we do and the bad things that we do. We should just take responsibility for it. We shouldn't say we're doing it because of the devil or doing it because of, God or Jesus. We're doing it because we decide to do it. And so I just, for myself personally, I found that I could still be a good person. I could respect other people's, beliefs or whatever, but at the same time, I could follow my own, I guess, my own personal rules or something. Like it's just like, I just don't like it when laws are based on religion, because I just don't think it's the right way it should be, because so many countries in the world where religion is the main, mixed in too much with politics, it always ends up becoming almost like a dictatorship or something, and it shouldn't be. It should be a free, like just say America should be a free country of people have different views, but we should find a way to be able to, work together. Okay, we don't all agree on certain things, but we can't even agree on the stuff we agree on. And
there's always going to be somebody to fuck that up too.
So it doesn't matter. But yeah, for me, it's just I don't really see any use of it. I believe that, like I said, I take responsibility for my own actions. I don't. It's a weird thing, because when I don't go to church, on my own for anything, but I go for like when people pass away, unfortunately, or something like that, or other instances in the last how many years. But I always get uncomfortable because.
Kind of like an inauthentic vibe in a way, because I get that a lot of funerals and churches and things like that.
Yeah, well, it comes across condescending, or like they're trying to like say that it's they're in a better place or something like that. Well, first of all, we don't know 100%. Nobody knows for sure what's in the afterlife. So you could say maybe you think they're going to go to a better place, and who knows if there is a heaven and hell. Maybe they're going to hell. You don't know for sure what at that funeral. If they're
We've all known a dick or two in our time, so yeah.
But I don't know. It just bothers me because it's good to pay respect and everything like that. But I just think I guess my biggest problem with religion in general, and it's not just I say Christianity kind of thing. It's any religion. It's just a condescending aspect to it. It just turns me off, because it's like, I am who I am, just like Yo-Yo is who she is. And we're not religious people, but it doesn't make us bad people. It just makes us, we just have a different opinion on certain things, but probably a majority of the stuff, we believe is the same.
Yeah.
But people will just take the things that separate us and use that against us, or to form their opinion on only the things that are different, when it's like, well, we should all be looking for the things that we're closer, that we agree on. And, why can't people agree? Why can't people have a different belief system, but still agree on, like, I don't know, 80% of the same stuff? I still think that's a pretty good ratio of having, similarities,
Yeah. Yeah, because I would say that most of the people that I know are agnostic or atheist. I have a handful of people who share the same beliefs, but I'd say for the most part, no, they don't. But it's like what you said, it's 80% of what we do get along and share that really makes the connection. And then from there, some of us will actually have like an interesting back and forth conversation about, okay, this is why I believe. And then they're like, well, this is why I don't think that's correct. Okay, that's interesting. And it's not any kind of a gotcha type of a thing. It's a literal, just explaining and understanding each other.
I just don't understand what it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what people want to worship their religion. How worship whatever the hell you want.
Right.
It's totally fine. Just don't be a dick and don't let it interfere with my life. It's like when I'm not around, do what you want, and it's like it's not even on my radar as an issue, And why would it be? Why if somebody's able to get something that's helping them and positive from something that I don't, I'm not going to stop them from doing that. I wouldn't try to get them to stop, because it's like they got to follow their own path. If it helps them out, then that's good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like it's not for me. But it's like that should also be accepted too. That it's okay. It's not necessarily for me. But does it make me a bad person for it? Some people will think it is.
Sorry.
Some people will. Some people will actually think that one issue, defeats everything else that you did. Which is, to me, it just, if people are like that, then they could piss off, because that's just not, I don't care. I mean, and I don't really care if people like or don't like the things that we like or disagree with or agree with. I really, any of that stuff, I don't care, because I'm just living my life. We're living our lives. It's not, it's none of anyone's business, unless, we're doing the fest, we're doing stuff we like, and we're hoping to gather other people that like it. Yeah. But I mean, for personal stuff, it's like, people can like it or don't like it, take it or leave it, and it's all good either way.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of the things that's always driven me crazy, is that, especially when you get accosted on the street, when you're just walking somewhere and then you get somebody witnessing, like at my church, we call it new spiritual energy / spiritual mugging, where it's literally this person is so gung-ho because I just started believing a year ago. And so they're like beating you over the head with it. Even I'm like, dude, you got to back the fuck up a little bit, because I already believe, so leave me alone. Go away to bother somebody else. Like I'm sitting there going, I completely understand why this is obnoxious. Please stop doing it.
Yeah, people do that sometimes when I'm out. They'll just come up to me and just start like giving me like a interview or something on, what does this mean? Like if I wear a shirt or something, that is, and I'm just like, come on, dude. It's like,
right.
just leave me alone. It's like, I don't care.
My first year in college here in the States, and there's one time I was just walking home after school. There was one random guy handed me a card. I didn't get to read it. I was walking, but then I was reading it like, blah, 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 so you're going to hell. I'm like, I was just,
like, man, that really went accelerated fast.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I was just getting a fucking quarter pounder.
Yeah, well, yeah. But like anything, there's fanatics out there, or just people, like maybe newcomers to stuff. They just get like over excited about it, and they just start like thinking that the simple fact of going to church or something makes them better or makes them invincible or something. And it's not like, I mean, it's almost like they're using religion as some kind of drug or some kind of like shield against stuff. And it's like, no, you're still a person. And you don't just go out of the church and start driving like a maniac and think, well, I'm not going to die because I just went to church and Jesus thinks I'm great.
Yeah, it's like,
but people are weird,
like, dude.
People are weird like that, though. It's like it's great if they're getting something out of it, but put it in a little bit perspective. It's like, when I go see a show that I like, I don't just leave and start just being reckless, because I'm like, the show was great. I'm ready to just,
I'm invincible.
Yeah, it's kind of a bad thing. But, no matter what it is in life, the common denominator usually screws things up is people.
Right.
It's because it's not, a lot of times it's not the ideas of these things in life are good, but people always find a way to screw it up. You could say that with anything religious, political, whatever it is. It's like the idea itself isn't as bad as the perception. Once you throw people involved in it, they always screw it up somehow.
Oh yeah, it's always the tiny little percentage that just completely screws it up for everybody. That never fails. It's like there's a reason that saying,
voice.
That you can't have nice stuff. There's a reason that saying exists. Is because of those assholes. I completely understand it.
Yeah. For someone like you, it must be like, can you please shut up? It's just be nice. Just be cool.
You're making us all look like dicks. That's really, I think that a lot. Especially those guys who almost use it as a tool to be willfully stupid.
Yeah.
It's like you go, hey, have you ever considered maybe Jesus isn't divine? And that could potentially give you a bullet for even asking that. But I feel like, no, that's a healthy question. You should kind of struggle with that a little bit, because otherwise I don't feel like you do grow spiritually.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no matter what anyone believes, they should have their ears open and be open-minded about stuff and listen to. And just because someone has opposing ideas, it's not like they're not saying we want to fight. We just have different opinions, and why can't you got to be able to negotiate things or figure out stuff. But if you're only around people that only believe what you believe, I think sometimes. And maybe that might happen in a church situation where you're surrounding yourselves with people that are just thinking one way. Maybe they're thinking like, well, this is the right way because we're doing it, but everybody else is different. They don't want to listen to what you have to say.
Yeah. I
mean, preferably for me, I really don't like talking about it that much because it's just not something that I'm that concerned about. But it's still, if someone wants to, I mean, I'll talk about it, but I would like to talk about it in a way that's like reasonable, because sometimes I do get people at shows bringing up, stuff about religion or lyrics and stuff like that. And sometimes you can have a reasonable conversation. Just be like, okay, we just, look at it a different way or whatever. And other people, they get super offended or condescending about it. And it's just like, you asked. I mean, I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ask, I'll let you know. But I'm not like I'm, the lyrics, like I said, are pretty explicit. But I mean, it's death metal, and it's supposed to be explicit, and it's a way of me, or whoever's writing the lyrics, expressing themselves, or just getting some of the negative, personal feelings out or whatever. But when it comes down to it, we're all pretty easygoing and pretty happy because we do get, playing this such extreme music, you really don't have a lot of hate after, especially playing a show or something like that. It's the last thing you want to do is you want to just chill out.
Yeah, I've said that to people many times. It's like, if you ever want to see the mellowest thing in the world is, 30 minutes after a show at a metal show. Everybody's chilling at the bar, sweating. Whew, like nobody's trying to start a fight at that point. We're all in this together. Don't let anybody fall over. Lean on the bar. You'll be okay.
Well, and a good thing about our fest and also probably the metal and horror community in general is that it's based around entertainment that we like. It's not based around it's no political, no religious, there's no ideology at all. It's just, if you like this stuff, you go and have a good time, and that's it. And you'll be around other people that like it and have a good time. It's not, no one's going to try to indoctrinate you in any way or whatever. Yeah. And it's just, it's a fun place for people to get together and enjoy this stuff, enjoy the things that you enjoy. I don't know that's not really the best.
I get it. Yeah, it's your thing.
It's like it's better. Like, the thing I like about, say music and horror and stuff, it's like, it's entertainment. And that is like, it brings people together for an entertaining thing. It's not, it's not a serious thing, which is good, because in life, there's so much crap. There's so much seriousness in life. You want to go someplace where you could just let loose and just be yourself and enjoy the music without having to be, worry about your crap at home, or worry about someone getting annoyed at you because, you don't have the same political opinion or the same religious crap or whatever it is, it's nice to be able to just get away from all that stuff. And that's one of the things that we like about our event. It's
Right.
open to everybody because it's the way it should be, I think,
It's almost like we're trying to create a dreamland for everyone, well, the kind that we would like ourselves.
Right. Yeah, it's sort of like what Gene Simmons of Kiss said was part of the reason that they started Kiss was, besides making money, was he was like, we wanted to see the show that we wanted to see, and since nobody was doing that, we made it. And it sounds like, similar kind of a mentality with you guys.
But people go to the show, they just want to go and get away and have a good time,
Yeah.
And that's
We want people to be free and to be who they are, to feel like being themselves at our event, because we don't want anyone to hold back from their real selves or the things they love, because we want to create not only a entertainment event, not just a music and horror fest. We want to create a circle, an environment for people to feel comfortable being themselves and together enjoying the same stuff that everybody's into. That's honestly, from last year, based on last year's everything, I feel really happy with how it turned out and everything, because we definitely felt very successful in achieving that. There was just a very special synergy. I hate this word, but but there was a synergy going on in there, because everybody was just so passionate and so real. It was I was so happy to be there, to see that, to actually feel that. It's so
and to know we had
different.
something to do with it was
Totally.
great. And the and I think, without getting trying to get too deep into it, it's basically like these kind of things where it just brings people from different walks of life and everything together. It could only be a positive thing, because the more people talk to each other and get to know each other and understand each other, the better it is. Because it seems like these days, a lot with media, and maybe it's the internet, is that people push so hard to think of the things that we disagree with. But instead of why don't we get together for stuff we agree on, and then, I'm not saying that we're going to change anything, but there's a way better chance that you'll listen, if you hang out with someone and find out, oh, this person's really super cool, at least you can kind of understand, and maybe it makes the, okay, you could still not agree with something, but you feel like, oh, I disagree with this, but I understand, where these people are coming from, and they're, are right to have their own opinion on it. I just think it's a good thing, and that's what I like about doing what we've done. And I don't know if we really knew that it was going to go so well like that, as far as bringing people together. But once we did the first one, and we seen how amazing it was to see everybody, see the vibe, see just everyone having a good time, and just expressing themselves the way they wanted to. It just felt really good to be a part of something that, quote unquote, is brutal and evil, and everyone's having a good time. It's probably the happiest event going on in Greensboro in quite some time. Right. You might think this probably have more problems that who knows what. Some other show is going to be all these problems. Our show, everyone's just appreciative and happy.
Yeah, you just feel that pure bliss from it's just floating everywhere in the air.
Yeah, it was a pretty
awesome.
Impressive. I mean,
Totally.
it blew our minds, because I wasn't really, I didn't really know what to expect. I was so worried about the logistics of making sure everything was organized, but.
Oh, that reminds me. I remember seeing you guys last year. I was walking through the crowd, and I saw you and Yoyo walking, but it wasn't a walk. It was a fuck kind of thing. You just blasted right by, and I remember thinking, "Oh, I'm relaxed." I feel bad for them. You know, it's like you look like you're about to lose your mind, but I mean in a good way. It didn't seem like a bad thing.
No.
It just seemed like, you know, what you're talking about, shit logistics.
Well,
you know?
it's just that we really want to do everything the right way, the best way possible, and you know, it's a stressful situation to be in, trying to make sure everyone's having a good time, and then you know, there's always something that you either forgot or got messed up or last minute requests that you need to do, and it's like, oh crap, you know, I gotta do this, that, and but you know, it's a lot of work, but like I said, it's so rewarding because you know, the feedback we've gotten after it. There was a certain point when I finally was able to like settle down for a few minutes, and I think it was right before Nasty Savage played. They just got on stage, and he just yelled to the crowd "nasty," and they yelled back "fucking," and then "savage," and and then they went into the song, and it seemed like I see everybody having a good time, and I was just like, I felt good, you know. I was like, okay, this is all like coming together, you know. It's like because before that, the whole day before and that day, I barely had a chance to even know what was happening.
Because shit, the pool hall bailed out on you guys. You know, I'm sure that was, you know, added to the fun.
Man.
Yeah. Just think, our one venue pulled out a week before.
It's like of all times,
and then,
man.
But you know, the Kraken, James at the Kraken really stepped up to the plate. I mean, it's impressive, and it was humbling for us because, I mean, he saved our asses on it, and he made it presentable for the fest, and literally it must have been 3 days or something. Mm-hmm. He had to like build a stage. He had to build a awning over the stage. He had to gather a PA. Had to get all the stuff for the show. And it was just like, you know, I was prepared for it to be a really rough day. Like, okay, you know, and because
let's just get
through this. Yeah. But then we got there, and it was like everything just worked. You know, it was okay. But it was the start of us. Well, not really the start, but it was another point of realizing how good our
watch out, we're all professionals.
Yes.
You're fine, dude.
But yeah, no, it was one of those points I realized like there's really some, you know, special people, you know, in North Carolina that are really they really stepping up to the plate to try to make sure this goes as good as possible. I mean, like, you know, the help we have with Woods of Terror is an amazing help, you know, and then
they're really cool.
Like I said, you know, James over at the Kraken, I mean, for him, like, we thought we were totally screwed, and he pulled it together, and it ended up being like an amazing first day to the event. It actually like set the vibe in such a positive way, and it wouldn't have
better than the other place.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have happened without people really caring about it. Yeah. And I mean, I know they believed in what we were doing, which was nice, but they also, you know, they wanted to present it well for people and stuff too. Like, they just had the integrity, and it's something that we've noticed in the horror and metal scene in North Carolina is that, you know, there's a lot of people that are really, really supportive, and like they understand what we're doing, and they really want to be a part of it and really be part of making it, you know, better, or making it a little easier for us or whatever. So it's really great. And because even Crank It Loud, the main promoters in this area for metal and stuff, they've really went above and beyond all the time as far as helping us, supporting us with the event, because they know that, you know, it all works together. You know, it's like the metal and horror scene, you know, if we all work together, we could do good stuff, and everyone benefits from it to some extent, you know, because the more people that are into this stuff, the more shows and stuff that could happen, and the better the scene is, or the, you know, conventions can do better, and, you know, they can grow and stuff like that. So it's good for everybody.
Yeah. That's one of the great benefits of having something like that is that when something like this is successful, you get offshoots. It's just sort of the nature of how things work, and that's 100% what I want. I'd love to see, North Carolina be like this is the metal capital of the world. Let's make it almost, oppressively metal.
Well, a lot of places that have a good metal scene now, didn't have the best metal scene when they started having fest and stuff like that. It was like the fact that, there were fests there, and then it kind of like influences and gives hope to like the younger bands to have something to strive for, or just inspiration of seeing it. So really, like, in a certain amount of time, like it goes to say like the Baltimore metal, I mean, they have the Maryland Death Fest in Baltimore. When they were starting, they started at a time when the scene was really small in Baltimore, but from doing their fest year after year, for a long time, they ended up building one of the strongest metal festivals in the U.S., but also, just a great local scene that helps out everybody, the fans, the promoters.
Even the whole area.
Yeah, it's just a great thing. And we're hoping that, we can do that kind of thing for North Carolina. I mean, I don't know, if we're ever going to be, say, as big as a Maryland Death Fest or something, but it's just as long as we could be, a part of the North Carolina scene that is doing something positive towards making it a better, a better metal and horror scene. That's, really the goal,
Yeah.
It's like somebody's got to do it to make it happen, so why not us?
Right, yeah.
That's kind of the way we looked at it, yeah. It's like, and we were also, I think we mentioned last time when we did this that, we're grateful for being here in North Carolina. I mean, Yo-Yo's been here for way longer than I have, but, since I've moved here, it's been nothing but amazing. Yeah, I mean, I'm so appreciative of it. I mean, the people have been nice. This music and horror scene has been great. The weather's great here. Everything it's just a great place to be, a great vibe. Greensboro is like a city that is expanding and getting better. Like each year I come here, I see it getting better. And I remember I've been to Greensboro, years ago, and it was like a dying town. And now it's like, now it's a town that is, growing,
thriving. Yeah,
thriving and stuff, which is, it's great to be in that situation of feeling that you're in an area that's, moving up. I mean, hopefully our things like a super small, but a sliver of helping make it a little bit better place to be, or to visit. I want people, travelers to come here. I want them to be like, oh, wow, this is really cool. North Carolina is really nice and stuff. I mean, because we have a good amount of people that take the trip out here, and it's nice to see them enjoying the city too,
Yeah, yeah. So when people are coming here to see the Carolina Chainsaw Massacre, what are some of the other guests that they're going to be seeing? I know that some of the Evil Dead cast is supposed to be showing up. I looked at it. I was happy, but I didn't get the details. So what are some of the details of them, and are there other people that have already been announced that I am not aware of?
Let's just say the Evil Dead girls are excited to be here.
I love that because they were the ones from the old, like the very first one.
First one, yeah. That's going to be really cool.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, also Scotty from the Evil Dead
too. Oh,
too.
yeah. I did see that. I forgot about that.
Well, we did want to try to get Bruce Campbell, but we can't afford him.
I know.
Yeah, it would be great.
He's going to be in town.
I know, yeah.
He's going to be somewhere nearby, but yeah, I can't imagine. Maybe that's a good goal to have, in the next couple of years.
It doesn't hurt to have a goal.
Right, yeah. I imagine his price tag is not cheap, so I can't blame you.
And then Caroline Williams from Texas Chainsaw 2.
Yeah, and she showed up in Rob Zombie's Halloween for a minute. Yeah.
She's that. She was also in Hatchet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, she's awesome.
Yeah.
She just seems like she's going to be fun. I look forward to meeting her.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's great for us to be able to host stuff for such legends. I mean, that's like people from the Evil Dead or Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, those are like
it's like our own dreams come true.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, because those are both legendary. Growing up, I mean, still to this day, it's amazing to watch those movies and just such classics, and to know that we're able to have them not just have some legendary metal bands, but have legendary horror guests there too is super awesome, you know?
Yeah, I was telling John that I guess it was about a month or two after the Carolina Chainsaw last year, Jon Dugan that played Grandpa from Chainsaw Massacre had showed up. I saw where he posted on his Facebook that his doctor basically said he had to quit drinking or he was going to die. So it said something to the effect of, please don't buy me any beers. I'll eat a gummy with you, but don't buy any beer because I can't drink anymore.
How did I miss that? He literally asked me to get beer.
Oh, did he? Well, this might be before he got his doctor's note, so you were probably okay.
Okay.
Oh, wouldn't that be funny, though? You didn't know and you're handing him a beer and he
know.
wants to be polite and risks his life.
No, I was asking you if I could get him anything, and he asked for beers.
That might. Oh yeah. It was a little bit after the actual festival. Okay, yeah. When I was going back through the timeline, I was like, yeah, it was.
But he was, I mean, he was having a great time though. I mean, I remember I kept going up. Is everything cool? You know, because I was, you know, he's a big deal to have him there. You know, and he was like, yeah, I was just having a great time. You know, I think he was just like smoking weed with some of the fans and stuff like that, you know. So just think about some.
It was so cool.
Just think about some, you know.
And also, like, imagine like at the Kraken they have a little like smoking area set up outdoors in the back, where they have like, I don't even know how to describe that. Just like the whole setup is like straight out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Abandon the little things and like old toys.
Yeah, it has like that. Yeah, it has
like
that like
dolls in bird cages, like
Oh,
the whole thing. And then he was just sitting right in there smoking weed with the fans. That was
just
good for him.
But just think how cool it is for somebody to feel like I smoked weed with, you
he
know,
was sitting there
Grandpa.
like a king.
And he was like, sitting like Grandpa from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, except smoking weed with everybody.
It's so what a good story to have, man.
Yeah.
I thought mine was fun just meeting him, you know. But man, getting fucked up out of your mind with him, that's good. That's something you tell people for years. Good for them and him. Well, when is the event? It's May 5th and 6th?
Yes.
Okay. So May 5th is going to be at the Kraken in Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
And then May 6th, which is a Saturday, is going to be at Arizona Pete's.
Yes.
Okay.
Same.
Okay.
Last year.
Okay. Well, tell everybody where they can find tickets and VIP fun shenanigans, all that kind of stuff.
Just you can just check out CarolinaChainsawMassacre.com or look us up on Facebook. Yeah, we sell them on Eventbrite this time. We had we didn't do physical tickets at the record stores. We were doing it at Hippo Records last year, but we had to stop doing that because it just was getting too
much for the two of us to organize.
Yeah, it was actually getting really confusing.
Last year.
Yeah,
the hybrid definitely didn't work.
Yeah, because we last year we set it up so we could have as many different payment outlets for people to pay as possible. But with doing that, day of the show, it was like really tough to look up everything because it was just too many different sources of everything, and it was like taking too much time. So this time we decided to just go with Eventbrite. I know it's some people it's a little bit of a hassle if they don't like to buy by credit card or whatever online, but it's really the only way we could streamline it because it has to be all in one place doing it, because otherwise it's just too much,
We're gonna have a small amount of physical tickets at the door just in case some people don't have bank accounts and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
It's gonna be very limited.
Okay.
So
I mean, if you're buying at the door, it's simple enough, But to have it in too many different places, and I mean, we want to sell it all at record stores because part of it is we want to promote the music scene. So of course, the record stores are great for having it, but we got to find a way to do it that is not going to drive us crazy the day of the event. You know, it's like
Yeah.
we're still trying to hash out some of the stuff. So yeah, the Eventbrite thing is going to give us a little more peace of mind the day of than it was last year. But that's part of doing it.
Last year we literally had like different lists that I had to cross off and find the names in different
And just think
folders.
about you have like a huge line of people, and you're like, where's this guy's name? Is that none of this
Is he
one?
this folder or that folder? Oh, this list doesn't have him.
And then he has to pull up his information and show it to us, and then
you're eventually just
fuck
just
it.
go in.
Yeah, so that's kind of like, it got a little too crazy, like I'm sure we'll be able to figure something out in the future that might work better, but it's just over time, it's just going to get, things we're going to find out where the problems are and try to fix them. But to be fair, the amount of issues were pretty small. So,
we learned a lot from last year.
Right.
But we're still trying to figure things out and probably just trying different things out and see what works the best.
Yeah. And I imagine that, when you're first starting out, you want to give everybody as many options as possible. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, the reason this is a terrible idea is because of this. All right. That's
Exactly.
just one of the kinks that you got to work out. And it's a process for anything of this level. So, the fact that you guys are able to pull it off is great. Well, all right. Is there anything else you guys want to mention before we wrap everything up?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for the interview. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. No, I appreciate you
you.
guys coming out. It's a big deal to me. This is it will always make the inner child in me who grew up listening to, bands like you guys is just, this is sort of my, I don't know what the word is for it, but this is sort of me making my dreams come true when I was a kid, because you guys were always so inaccessible. Like you lived on a castle in the mountains with demons, and I would never get to visit you. And so the fact that I get to meet you guys in life and in real life is really cool. So I appreciate you guys coming out and chatting with me. It's been fun getting to know you and going to the festival. So I'm so really happy that we're able to keep kind of chatting with each other, and that hopefully you guys will be able to keep doing the Chainsaw Massacre for years to come.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
It's definitely, we appreciate all the support from all the people, especially in the Carolinas, that's been helping us with, support, either just buying tickets and going, or just, promoting it on stuff like this, or just whatever it is, we really appreciate it a lot, because, Yoyo and I both really put a lot into it, put our, pretty much our heart and soul into doing this and trying to make it the best it could be. So it's really great to see other people embracing it. And again, I want to thank Woods of Terror for, being a part of it too. They really helped make it extra special,
It's insane how much people are willing to do to try to help us with the promotion and everything, because it's mostly just the two of us doing everything, so sometimes things got pretty overwhelming, and we just can't cover every aspect of everything all the time. So we have people from all over the place locally and from the surrounding towns, and asking us to help us hand out flyers, and I could see our friends and fans just keep posting everywhere, and just all the support and help is crazy, is really overwhelming in a positive way, and I really appreciate it. And also it's really awesome that those people, they support us just out of pure love, and they don't ask for anything, and they don't even ask for credit, and they don't brag about how much they have helped us. So I just I want to express our sincere appreciation, because definitely this wouldn't happen and won't happen without those people, without the support from those people.
Right. Well, good. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm glad to hear, that people are willing to come out and support you guys and really put the effort in. Do you guys have a street team, of volunteers and whatnot?
I mean, we have people that help us out. Not an official street team, but we definitely have some people that help spread the word.
Yeah, everywhere.
Different places, and then other people that kind of help us brainstorm ideas and stuff, because we need to have other people's opinion and ideas to help help us out a lot too, because there's so much going on our end that having that outside voice on certain things is beneficial, or because it's a lot of work. I mean,
it is tough to get your name out there, when you're starting something new like this. I'm sure. I mean, you guys already kind of had a bit of a step up, which is a big plus. But I mean, still, it's got to be a lot of legwork.
Yeah, we're a little over a month away from it now, so we're like the thick of it as far as like a lot of stuff to do. It's crazy. Right.
I can imagine. I can only imagine. No, I don't want to imagine. I'll let you guys do that. I'll buy the ticket, not worry about it. All right. Well, Jon, Yo-Yo, thanks so much for coming on again. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to, coming out and seeing you guys and all the great bands and people out there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So everybody make sure you go out and check out the Carolina Chainsaw Massacre at the Kraken Bar in Chapel Hill. Am I getting it mixed up? Is it Friday the 5th?
Friday.
Okay, Friday the 5th. And then Arizona Pete's in Greensboro on Saturday the 6th. They're both all-day things, right? Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's going to be food available at the...
Friday is not all day.
What's that?
Friday is...
Well, it's not. It starts at 5.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So 5 o'clock on Friday and then all day on Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, and we're going to have a food truck, 2 food trucks at Arizona Pete's this time, and food available at the Kraken too. So,
awesome.
Because last year, that was one of the complaints that we had, that food wasn't really accessible, and we tried to get a food truck last year, but we basically
somehow it didn't happen.
Yeah, somehow got lost in the shuffle. But this year we're like wanting to make sure it looks like we have some good stuff.
Yep.
So
right. Oh,
and also the last thing is I want to really encourage our fans and just whoever that's interested to attend this fest in costumes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, first off, it's going to be awesome. And it's we really want to encourage people to, be themselves, no matter what time it is of the year. It does, you don't have to dress up around Halloween or something.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, this could be a little second Halloween for all of us, macabre nerds out there.
Yeah.
Because we want everybody to celebrate who they are, or who they want to be.
Okay, yeah. Well, then I'll try to do that too. I like putting all that fake latex and blood and shit all over me. That's a lot of fun. All right, well, cool. Well, guys, thanks so much, and we will see you guys out at the Carolina Chainsaw Massacre.
Hell yeah!
Thank you.
Thanks. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Piedmont Triad Podcast. Thanks again to Jon and Yo-Yo for chatting with us again this year, and I want to make sure to tell you to go to the Carolina Chainsaw Massacre.com to pick up tickets and go to this awesome festival that they are putting together last year and this year and hopefully for many, many years to come. Also, want you to go and check out PiedmontTriadPodcast.com, where we are going to start posting all of our episodes, past and present, for you to just click and listen whenever you feel like. If that's not your cup of tea, then go to all the other different streaming platforms where we appear. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartMusic, all of the places that you could possibly think of to listen to a podcast, we're going to be showing up there. Make sure to check out our socials, Piedmont Triad Podcast on Facebook, and on Instagram, we are Piedmont Podcast. Also want to give a big shout out to Brian Falk for all of the great artwork he has done for me and all of the websites that I've run. Also a big thanks to Matt Smith and the Cowboy Spankers for letting us use their song Not Tonight as our intro and outro music. Make sure to go check them out on Bandcamp. And a big thanks to you for listening. Until next time, Piedmont.